This is the Milo Beasley Show. This is the Milo Beasley Show. There's only one thing you need to know. This is the Milo Beasley Show. And now, here's your host, Milo Beasley.
And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show. This week, I have a longtime friend. We go back all the way till 2001, 2002, 20. Oh my, this is like a 20-year anniversary. Please help me welcome, formerly known as Konnor from the Ascension. Please help me welcome Big Kon. Ryan, how you doing, man?
Man, Nath, how you doing, baby? You're looking good.
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good, feeling as good as I can,
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, yeah, we go back almost 20 years at this point. I think I met you at FOW.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oof. We're digging through cobwebs right now in our brains.
Yeah, I think that's where it was. And then I was to say Sunray, but we don't talk about Sunray. But so, and then as I was trying to think, so you were trained by Rusty Brooks, right?
Yeah, so I started in Rusty Brooks's backyard. He worked with me a little bit, and then and he ended up handing me over to a gentleman by the name of Soul Man Alex G.
Soul Man.
And then Soul Man has like literally grabbed me and, you know, took me under his wing and taught me not only wrestling, but life in general.
Absolutely. Soul Man's a good dude. So I was trying to figure this out because we had, you lived and wrestled in South Florida. Did you wrestle for Bill Brown? So I was trying to determine if you had wrestled for both FSC or FCWs. Yes. So you wrestled for Bill Brown's FCW and Steve Kern's FCW. I've
done a show with Bill that I can think of off the top of my head because it was Tatanka.
It was at the reservation.
Yes.
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 So you might be the only person to wrestle for Bill Brown's FCW and Steve Kern's FCW.
No, really?
Maybe. I would have to think that there wasn't. Steve Kern's FCW wasn't around too long before it became NXT. So how many people from down south were developmental? Not too many people. So you may have a very cool distinction there.
Oh man, that really. I've never even thought about that until you said that.
So yeah, those reservation shows were something else, man.
Yeah, man. You remember Harry?
Yes.
Harry Venus,
the mayor of Davie.
Yes, man. Yeah. Yeah. Man, he'd always gig and bleed everywhere.
And he was the shoot like mayor of Davie, Florida.
Oh man, he was so cool. He was cool from what I remember.
Yeah. So I don't think I ever had a match with him though, but I did have a match. Man, there were a lot of characters down there. Was Vernon, the used car salesman, with the shaved head? I forgot but yeah, there were a lot of characters down in South Florida, man. That was what a time to be alive and a wrestler in Florida during those early 2000s.
Golden times, man. Just such good people that Billy Fives and just some names that were down there that you always looked up to when you were coming up in the business, and then of course the Tampa area, you had I always vaguely remember like Scoot Andrews, Lex Lovett, you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
Just crazy when you think about it.
Yep. Those were, man, I wish that unfortunately there was like no YouTube back in the day, but man, had there been a YouTube, I think people would be aware of some really good wrestlers that they never got to hear of.
Yeah, right. There was a lot of guys that were unheard of that were absolutely amazing. Like I go back and I think about even some of the stuff that I would see you do when I was on shows blow my mind. You were like ahead of its time in itself.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I see people do stuff on TV or people post Twitter GIFs and like, oh, look at this. And I was like, all right, I mean,
my beer, kid.
Well, yeah, okay, well, wish there would have been a YouTube back then. I'd have made it. But awesome. So how did you go from, so you went from the Florida Indies to Deep South Is that what,
Correct.
is that how you went? Okay. So did you, I know they were using people out that weren't under contract. Were you going up there for tryouts or did they contact you?
No. So I actually went to a WWE event and I met up with John Laurinaitis at the time. I want to say it was 2000 and maybe near the end of 2004. We had sat down and we had talked, and they had decided they wanted to put me under contract, but they were telling me about this developmental company that they were working on and getting everything established and set up. So it just became a waiting process for a little bit, and then you're getting paid. You just kind of just sit around, but they eventually opened it up, and then we just moved up there, or from all over the parts,
Right.
and yeah, it was wild times too when you think about it, to see how far developmentals come.
Absolutely. But the names that were in Deep South, OVW, and then, and now NXT, and then, and now, so like the names that were in those small little unair conditioned buildings, or
Stuff that we would appreciate.
Yes. That's what I grew up in. I'm still there. But then you actually did something that not a lot of people do, and that's you left.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put in your walking papers and you said, I'm done with this. And then, so what between who did you contact them to return, or did they contact you to return?
No. So I always believe in good business, and you never burn a bridge no matter where you're at,
Right.
And I think a lot of people nowadays, they have this ego to where they think they can do whatever they want. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's good business. But what I ended up doing back then was I just told them that mentally I wasn't stable in the position that I was in. I was too young, immature. And I told them, I was like, they did try to, they were like, listen, man, are you sure you want to do this? You've worked so hard. And I'm like, I need to step away. I really have to. And so Johnny Ace, and this is who I specifically talked to, John Laurinaitis, he told me, he goes, listen, kid, when your head starts going below water, he goes, give us a call. And I said, yes, sir. And so 3 years later, and that's the one thing I always will say is that, WWE was always good about their word for the most part. At least with me, I can specifically, think of a few instances where they were good with me when it came to, when they told me they were going to do something, they did it. And I just always thought maybe they did that because I had a good rapport with them. So that was kind of how that came about. So 2010, it was really an email. I emailed John Laurinaitis, and he responded right back with me, and it blew my mind because I was like, whoa, I thought maybe this was going to have to be, more text messages and phone
Right.
calls and, and stuff that we're used to growing up on. Come on, sir. Come on,
Right.
give me a chance.
Right. Yeah. We'll get back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get back to you 2 years later,
Right.
But yeah, he's like, hey kid, how's everything going? I ended up driving down from, at that time I lived in North Carolina, Greensboro to be specific.
Oh.
I came down on my own dime. I drove down in my truck, came right here to Tampa Bay. And I sat down and we talked for a little bit, and, we had to, wrinkle some things out or iron some things out. And it worked out and it was great, and I came back again. Not very many guys get a second chance, and I had to prove myself, and it wasn't easy. It was, can we trust this kid? Is it, what's going to happen?
Right.
Will he quit on us again? Will he, so they put me through the grinder for a couple of years, and I just stuck with it because, it's like we love this.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't feel like a job. It's just, you grind and just do what you love.
Right.
So it worked out.
Yeah, and then you won I mean, obviously there was something about you for them to be able to call you right back. You won the FCW Heavyweight Championship. It was
Deep South.
Deep South. The Deep South.
Yep, that's okay. It was the Deep South Heavyweight Championship, and then when we came back, they threw the NXT Tag Team belts on us.
The NXT, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
So,
that's got to be pretty cool to carry that WWE gold, though. Like
I'm blessed. I don't know what more to say.
Right? And then who came up with the name Ascension? I know it was like before what people saw on. So like people who saw the Ascension on TV, they may not know that like that wasn't the first Ascension.
Thank God for YouTube.
So I mean, how did that name? Who came up with that name? Do you remember?
Yeah. So I had nothing to do with that name at all. That literally had nothing to do with me. That literally came from a gentleman by the name of Ricardo Rodriguez. He's the one that was the mastermind behind all of it. And it was NXT season 5. I got voted off, and I remember being really upset. And of course, nobody likes rejection. It's upsetting, right? So I remember coming Tuesday, I flew in, and then Wednesday I had to go to practice. I remember walking in. Bill DeMott gave me the Iggy and said, "Hey, listen, kid, we've got an idea for you. We want to put you in a group, and we think that it's going to be good." And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Whatever. So I remember walking in, and it was Ricardo, it was Tom Latimer, Shaw Guerrero, Hunico, or not Hunico, I'm sorry, Epico. And there was me. And so when you looked at the picture and you looked at everything, you're like, well, how in the hell does this work out? And I remember I looked at Bill and I said, Bill, what the hell? Like, I mean, what is this? Just 5 random people that they got nothing for. So they just want to, just throw them together, see if it works and then fire them. Like, what's the deal here? And he's like, no. He's like, just relax. And then Ricardo, was working a lot with me. Like, no, it's good. It's going to be good. And he was talking about the 5 chakras, and this is what it's supposed to be, and there was 5 of us, and that the Ascension was your higher self and all this, right? And I'm thinking, man, this just sounds weird to me. I'm like, okay, I'll roll with it. We looked nothing like a part of anything. It was just brutal, right? Visually, you're like, how does this even make sense?
Super indie-rific.
So one day, right, Ricardo had to go to the West Coast, because he was still doing his thing with Del Rio. And I text Ricardo. I was like, hey, today's promo day. We've got to have a promo for the Ascension. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to talk about. What would you like us to talk about? He goes, talk about the Ascension and what it means to you. And I said, oh, okay. All right, cool. I was like, I'll take care of it. So I put a mass text out to everybody, and I told them, hey, listen, we're all black, look business, because Ricardo always wore black.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, let's just be the part. And we go in there, and I remember looking at the ring and saying, Shaw is definitely like the eye candy because she's the chick, and that's just the way wrestling works. So you put her there, and you kind of spread us out. And we cut the promo. We did our thing, and it was actually really good, right? And then Dusty Rhodes said, I want you all to come in here. And I didn't know. I was like, oh man, we really screwed up, man. Like, I think we really messed this up bad, And we get in there, and Dream's sitting there, and he goes, I want you all to watch this and tell me what you all think about it. And I'm watching it, and I see it, and he goes, do you think what I think? And I go, 5 assholes. That was exactly what I said. I said 5 assholes, right? And Dream started laughing. He goes, no, baby, I think vampire. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I could see that. And Shaw had to, Shaw was she's really hip and she's into everything. So she was explaining True Blood to us. And I'm like, I guess that was the hot thing at the time. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. Okay. It looked visually, it looked good. Right. And then Dream looked at me and goes, Ricardo without, he ain't no vampire. And I go, oh no. I was like, no. We just kicked Ricardo out by accident. And Dream's like, you want me to tell him? I go, Dream, I love Ricardo. I can't do that. Like, he's like family to me. And Dream's like, I'll make the call. I'll tell him. And I was like, oh, man. So I was, upset about it. But to this day, even Ricardo and we laugh about it, and going back to everything, that was his vision, and then it just kind of took on its own persona as time went on, with the gothic look into the heavy metal. Like, that just became its own thing.
Right. That's, I mean, the evolution of wrestling is kind of weird when you think about like how people start and then how people end. It's it's
never like you think.
It's never like you think. No, not
never
at all.
Like you think.
Never. But I mean, you've got to do some amazing things. One thing I want to ask about is you did the Greatest Royal Rumble, right? Was that the one in Saudi Arabia?
Yes. Was that the one with Titus?
Yeah. Yes. How is that flying over there, being there, the atmosphere, and that, like, I mean, it has to be something like you've never ever would have ever, thought to experience.
Yeah, well, I think, too, Naf, like the reason why we get into this is for the other cultures, learning what other people are like. You're always in for the traveling and the seeing and the learning and all that cool stuff. And for me, it was really neat. It was really cool because the media has a tendency of a way to make things seem sometimes. And I have to be honest, when we were over there, I had not an ounce of fear. Everyone was so hospitable to us. They were so nice. Wanted to make sure we were all taken care of. And it's going to sound kind of weird, but it was beautiful. It was like the way the people were, the culture and everything. Like they were so nice. And now getting to the show that day was amazing. The people were just, it was like a Wrestlemania. It's exactly what it felt like. It was its own Wrestlemania. And of course, the whole Titus thing, I remember sitting in the locker room and all the boys started dying laughing. And I remember come running out of the shower. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And I just had enough time to see the replay. I saw Titus go under. He just slid under the thing. And I go, oh man. Oh, they're not going to let that one go. It's like,
to this day. So do you think he set that up, or do you think he ate it?
He ate it. He ate it. He's notorious for doing things like that once in a while, That's why you love him, though. He's
right. He's one of the best. He's one of the best human beings on this earth, man.
Yes, he is. And you know what? He always can make you laugh, smile. Like he's just he's got an incredible heart.
And I want to ask about the other obviously the coolest thing that you could possibly think of when becoming a wrestler, and that is having your own action figure. Especially with kids, right? Because your kids get to play with your action figure. I was not to name drop, but I was talking to a friend of ours, MVP, who also came up in the FOW, and he says, man, it's just so cool when you are beating up Iron Man in your kids' hands. He says
that's awesome.
But he said it's the coolest thing to be able to see your kids play with your action figure. But just that, and seeing your action figure on the toy in the toy aisle on the shelves just has to be incredible, man. What did you first think when you first saw it?
It makes you proud. Like it really does. Like it's everything that we've ever worked for, right? Like all those crazy wild bumps, you take and the stories and, beating your body up and the late night trainings and going to the gym and doing whatever it is you have to do. Like it all amounts to moments, looking at that, and you see that Mattel brand next to it. And it's like, wow, and then you're looking at yourself and you're like, damn, I look that good. I think my first action figure, they made me like, it looked like I was 230. Meanwhile, I'm pushing 340 at the time. I was like, Mattel's so nice. Thank you for making me look good.
So how many figures do you have? How many figures did they make of you?
3.
Oh my God.
And I have every one of them, and they're all boxed up except for the one that me and my tag partner are together, because my son likes to play with that one. And so I have everything, all the video games that I'm in, they're all still sealed. All of my action figures are sealed, my cards, my Topps cards. And the purpose for that is it's not so much, I love it because it's cool. Right. It's something I did, but I just want to give it to my son.
Absolutely.
You know,
I couldn't imagine. I mean, I was a huge baseball card collector when I was growing up, so I couldn't imagine looking at a Topps card and seeing my face. It would
yeah,
be, I mean, that's,
it's cool.
yeah, I imagine. Something else I wanted to talk about before we wrap up, and hopefully it doesn't get too sad up in here, but I did want to talk about Brodie Lee. You had a relationship with him when you guys were in the WWE. You have anything that you can share about Brodie?
Yeah, I mean, I just did a thing not too long ago talking about Brodie. He was you can't put words into someone that's that special, because the things that he did for all of us, and it wasn't just me, it was the bond that the wrestling community had with him. Like, he was very special. And for me, I've got a couple of really cool stories that I loved about him, and I'm not very open with a lot of people. And like we were talking earlier, like, I don't talk to a lot of people. But Brodie was always one of those guys, or Jonathan, where I would just reach out, and I would just, our bond was the Redskins or the Washington football team. And we went to a game together, and, we had a couple beverages too many, and we were picking on Tampa Bay Buck fans, which it turned out great no matter what. They were awesome, thank God, because I'm sure they wanted to turn on us. It would have been the end of us. But there's one thing that Brodie told me one day, and it's something that'll always stick with me. And I've always said this back to some of the other people, is that I didn't like a certain position that I was in with my former company. And it was really hard for me to deal with that, because you always want more. No matter what in this business, you always want more. And sometimes you can't always get more, but you still should be happy and proud of what you have, right? So I remember one day sitting there just being really upset, and Brodie sat right next to me, and he's like, Ryan, he goes, "What's going on with you, dude?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm not happy right now, man." And he's like, "What do you mean you're not happy? You're with the best company in the world." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't like the position that I'm in." And he goes, "Let me ask you a question." He goes, and this is just me personally speaking, but I don't know about you, but I enjoy going out to restaurants with my family, knowing that I don't have to order from just the left side of the menu. And that hit me. And I remember going, you're right. You're right. Like, he's like, no matter what, you're providing for your family and you're being the man of the house. And he goes, and that's what's important. And that's who Brodie was. He was just, the wrestling business didn't deserve him. That's how high I think of him. And I know that's how high a lot of us think of him. And
it was quite evident with the outpouring of emotion, the outpouring of videos and twits and posts and everything that he was absolutely loved.
He was, he impacted a lot of us, and it was for the good. It was always for the good. And that's the thing. Like, every now and then you want to think about a wrestler, you'll see a wrestler, you'll think of something that maybe they did that was bad, or, something will go into your mind of, I don't like him because of that. Brodie was never like that. Brodie put you first when he sat and talked with you. He made you important. And I'm just grateful that I got to be an inkling in his life. He was a great performer, but he was an even greater husband and an even greater father. And I think that's something that you and I especially could appreciate,
Absolutely.
So yeah, it sucks. It sucks, man. I'm just what I'm really happy about though with all this is that I really love the outpouring of love that not only they're showing Brodie, but they're showing his family. And I think that would probably make him more happier than anything, is seeing how much love that his family's getting from everyone.
That's, I couldn't have said it better. And I know, so little segue here. I know that you were on Up, Up, Down, Down with Brodie quite a few times. So a thing we like to do on the Milo Beasley Show is called the top 5. I ask a random question, and that is, again, you were on up, down, down quite a bit. So I'm going to ask you your all-time favorites, no particular order, top 5 video games.
Any game.
Your top five, no particular order video games.
Okay, I love Madden. I love Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
I love Friday the 13th. I'm a big mark for that game. I love Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. All right, give me one more.
I'm trying to think right now. I'm trying to think the ones I like to play in. I love Star Wars. Anything Star Wars related,
yep.
I get down with that too. So, and then it's funny because I downloaded. I've got the PlayStation Network, and I like to get like some of the old games. I've got like Sonic the Hedgehog on there and stuff. My son loves to play that.
Well, I saw they just put out like on the Switch. They just put out like some of the old Sega games like
Golden Axe,
like Aladdin and Lion King. And I was like,
Lion King was epic.
I was like, I still haven't beaten it. I still, from 1992, I still haven't beaten Lion King.
No, but that's such a great game.
So
but hey,
good.
we got nothing but time now.
This is true. All right. So before we wrap up, I know you're not huge on the social medias, but if you have anything to push, promote, anything coming up.
Absolutely. The one thing I love promoting is I love promoting our wrestling school.
Yes.
We're at Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling. You can go to tampabayprowrestling.com, or you can hit me up at big_Kon1. Look for the verification on my Twitter or Instagram. If you're interested, let us know. You can always get our shirts at Pro Wrestling Tees. Also, we're also affiliated with the Grudge Match brand as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. We love Grudge Match. And Future Legends. But we don't have a shirt released yet.
Fantastic. Now I know that the school is a big thing. Hopefully that they, like you said, when you love wrestling, you just love wrestling. So and the fact that I know that you love wrestling it means so much more for those future wrestlers than just having somebody who's out there trying to take your money. So I'm hopeful that you're going to get some good guys that go in there and love wrestling just as much as you. Are we going to see you in Japan anytime soon after this? I'm sure that's the question you get asked over and over. But
I get that question a lot. But is it because I'm a gaijin?
I think it's because they love big dudes, man. when I was over there, man, they just love big dudes, and so I think you'd be a perfect fit. Absolutely, I absolutely think you would be a perfect fit over there. And would absolutely love to see you over there, either working for New Japan or All Japan. All Japan is obviously notorious for their bigger guys, especially their bigger Americans. So would definitely love to see you over there. So what is it? Is it on the table? What do you think?
There's nothing that's not off the table. That's the best way I'll put it. There's nothing off the table. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. And man, we got to, definitely feel like, we need more things like this to catch up with, because not being able to see people in person is, especially people who I've just known for so long. And, but
life's too short.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, man. And I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to chat with you again. And thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Nap. I appreciate it, my man.
Later.